Hey, Brian King, the Mindset King here. Today's broadcast is being recorded and transcribed. And if you want a copy of the transcription of this, and I suspect you will, all you need to do is join my free Mindset Academy. You will find the link in the comments so that you can enjoy this episode in all of its grandeur. So let's dig in. I listened to a wonderful audio this morning that said it can be wonderful incentive, motivation to have a villain of sorts. And the villain that I'm talking about typically comes in the form of somebody that doubts your potential. They tell you, you can't do that, you'll never succeed, you're not smart enough. And then you think to yourself, I'll prove you wrong. I'll show you. And then you proceed to dig in and do everything you can to prove that person wrong. And in many cases, you'll make sure they're watching, or you'll make sure that you update them, let them know how you're doing. And I can see that being powerful motivation. Heck, it's been motivation for me over the years. But in the long run, here is some of the difficulties I see with this approach. Is your success ends up being disproportionately for somebody else. It's all about convincing that person. It's about winning their approval, getting them to acknowledge, hey, guess what was wrong, buddy? Guess you were able to do that all along. Well, what happens if this person's never convinced? If they are so dug in on their position, they're so stubborn, even though you can tell there's a little glimmer in their eye that they realize that their initial claim was completely wrong as far as you're concerned, they still won't tell you because they're too prideful, because they kind of have the same mindset you did when you approach this, which is one of competition. I'm going to win, you're going to lose. I'm going to be right, you're going to be wrong. And if you both approach things in that way, who on earth wants to be on the losing end of that? I win, collect, free parking, or do not pass go, whatever the heck the Monopoly rules are. I don't have patience for that game. But you get my point. Is you spend so much time wanting to win the argument, wanting to prove somebody wrong, that you can collect a lot of accomplishments that are maybe things you really didn't want in the first place, but your ego said, I got to be right. So I got to prove this person wrong. Now, let me give you a suggestion on how you can make that a healthier motivation than wanting to prove somebody else wrong. Now, I can't speak for a lot of my heroes from the past, Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, Einstein. So I can't say definitively that they weren't motivated in some way by the doubting Thomases around them when they come up with some of their big ideas. But I know for myself, it's much more about challenging the idea, challenging the limiting belief that something can't be done or can't be done a certain way. I want to challenge the idea because I want to find out just what's possible, not only for me, but for whatever I want to see happen in this world. There were some people that thought there would never be an end to slavery. Guess what? That idea was disproven. The civil rights movement, the light bulb. We're never going to have electric light. Are you kidding me? We're all going to be using these gas lamps on the streets for eternity. Edison proved that idea wrong. I don't know if he had a specific person that was constantly in his face saying, Tom, you're wasting your time, buddy. What are you messing around with this light bulb stuff for? Forget it. Make the gas light better, if anything. There might have been people saying that, and that might have been part of his motivation. But if you want to make sure that it's something that you truly want, instead of having the villain, be hungry about innovation, about a new solution to a common problem. Now, however you feel about the moon landing, because I know that there are conspiracy theorists out there, JFK stood there and said, by the end of this decade, we're going to put a man on the moon. Now, I don't know if there are people around him saying, Mr. President, you're full of it. You're never going to pull this off. Or he could simply have been challenging the idea that it couldn't be done. So what I'm suggesting to you is find an idea that as time has passed, that's very limited, that holds society back, holds you back, and commit to challenging the idea. If it turns out you haven't figured out how to disprove that idea, okay, who were you in competition with in the first place? Who were you trying to convince? Whose ego were you trying to prove wrong? Who were you trying to make humble? Nobody, really. It was an idea that you challenged for yourself, for society. If that idea turns out to be, it holds up, okay, you move on to something else. You try something new. Or you delegate that idea to somebody else that's smarter than you. And in my case, there are plenty. And you say to them, hey, I couldn't figure this out. Why don't you have a go? It's all about the idea. It's about challenging the status quo. It's about leveling up your game and asking more of what we believe is possible for ourselves and other people. So challenge ideas. Use long-standing limits as your opportunity to push past it and see just what's possible. Because we spend enough time in competition with each other, and it doesn't really bring us any closer. If anything, it drives us apart. So I would much rather challenge ideas. And if people happen to watch me do it and like the results I get, and they want to learn how to do it too, I'll teach them so that more of us can be better. But I really personally, my opinion is that we get much further when we're pushing our own limits than when we're trying to convince somebody else they're wrong about us. Just my 2 cents. So with that, I hope this has been useful for you. If so, let me know. Don't forget to join my Mindset Academy for free so you can get the typed transcript of this episode. And please share this freely with as many people as you can. I suspect they'll thank you for it. And until next time, this has been Brian. Thanks for being you.